Brought to you by Spore Bunch Franz, discussing the importance of having strong company culture. Please welcome Roger West Creative and Codes President, Jenny Treby, SourceOne Solutions President and COO, Sean Parkinson, and Spore Bunch Franz's partner, Steve Bunch. And moderating this discussion, please welcome Spore Bunch Franz's Principal of B2 Communications, Kyle Parks.
Hello, I'm Kyle Parks with B2 Communications, and I'm really pleased to host a panel today about the importance of workforce culture and how it's important for companies, whether they make the Business Journal ranking or not, to have a strong, vibrant corporate culture. So to start out with, we're going to have each of our panelists tell you just in a minute or so who they are and what company they're with and what they do. So go ahead.
I'm Steve Bunch. I'm with Spore Bunch Franz. We are a CPA firm based in St. Pete. We've been around for the last 50 years serving this community, and we do tax compliance and planning for small business clients as well as financial accounting and auditing services, and we also give back a lot to the community. So pleased to be here, Kyle.
Thank you. Jenny?
Thanks, Kyle. My name is Jenny Treby, and I'm the president with Roger West Creative and Code. We are headquartered here in Tampa. We have a little over 20 team members now. It's our third time on the Best Place to Work recognition, so we're very excited. We are a digital marketing agency, and we're full service, which means we help clients build their brands through creative and messaging. We design and develop websites, and then we help clients leverage all of those digital platforms like social media marketing, paid media, SEO, and help them drive leads.
Okay, thank you. Sean?
Hey Kyle, thank you for having me. Thanks for the invitation. My name's Sean Parkinson. I work for SourceOne Solutions. We're a multifaceted IT managed service provider. We operate in some 110 countries around the world, where we manage, we monitor, and we maintain infrastructure, applications, and networks. One of the exciting things about this is obviously being here today, it's all centered around Clearwater. Our corporate head offices are literally just over the bridge in Clearwater. But we have our 24-hour network operating center there, which is manned by engineers, as I said, 7 by 24. So we have a multifaceted culture, which I'm sure we're going to talk about in a minute, but that is in essence of what we do. And it works very well.
Excellent. Well, thank you all for being here. This is going to be a bit of a lightning round game show format today with 15 minutes total. But we're going to ask a few questions, really getting to what these folks are seeing in their companies about how they're building a culture and trying to get to some best practices that other companies may want to learn from. So to start with, along that vein, what a lot of people talk about a best place to work as a nice thing. You might get an award. But for each of you all, tell us in a minute or so, how do you think that impacts your business in a tangible way, in a bottom line kind of way?
Start with me?
Yeah.
Okay. Best places to work for us at SBF, it's important to us. We're trying to create an environment where our employees feel like what they do every day makes a difference and a significant contribution to what we do as a firm by trying to make our clients' lives and businesses better, by trying to impact our community and trying to make each other better. And so, a lot of the things that people do on this list are great. The employee engagement activities, the mentoring, the coaching. When I started 20 years ago, nobody was doing that. So it's really refreshing to see everyone doing that. But to us, we feel like if you don't have that missing piece where people feel like they're part of something that's positive in somebody else's life, that really brings it all together. So we're trying to focus as a firm on having them understand the meaning they have in our clients' lives and our community and also with each other. So that's what it means to us.
Excellent. Jenny?
Yeah, I think, awards like this don't come by accident. It's intentional. We work every day, all day long, every day of the year on trying to make a great culture. So when you get that type of recognition, it's a source of pride, and you can see it in our team members. You can see it in the way that they talk to each other on social media. You can see it with the way that they engage with clients, and it almost like it kind of forces you to rise to the occasion. And we always say that a happy team member is a happy client. So it automatically drives client success, which in turn drives the bottom line. So there's absolutely a direct correlation.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Sean?
Very similar, actually. I mean, even though I said earlier we operate on a global scale, but if we really focus here on Clearwater, the culture's the same throughout the world, is we focus obviously on the client, but we also spend a lot of time, we focus on our team members. We're a very, very family-orientated culture. And it's easy for me to sit here. I inherited the culture from Rob Hessel, who's our CEO, who's not available today. But we try to push it forward because at the end of the day, it's always family first. Our clients then are taken care of, as you just said. Good team members, the clients are taken care of. But we go the extra mile. We really understand people's family members. We celebrate kids' birthdays. Right. We do all that stuff. And by doing that, our attrition rate is very, very low.
Right.
People enjoy coming to work. We feel that. And it really makes the culture that we're trying to really put into place correct. Because if we had the culture wrong, we'd have high attrition. To your point before, it would cost money, et cetera, et cetera. So by focusing on the family, we tend to hit all three of those things, and we keep our people happy. And by default, they enjoy coming to work, which is half the battle.
It's like a virtuous cycle. That's what they were, I mean, that's a great point. It's really a virtuous cycle.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. A lot of people focus on clients, but we try and do them both and spend just as much time focusing on our team members.
Yep.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Now, the pandemic obviously has given a whole new definition to corporate culture, and I think we all have had our share of Zoom pizza parties or whatever. But each of y'all, wanted to ask each of y'all something that y'all has started doing during the pandemic, and it's been successful, and it might be something that you're even thinking of taking forward after the pandemic. I'll start with you, Sean.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think like any company, we have our corporate calendar that goes on forever. There's standard meetings we have to do for all sorts of reasons. But when the pandemic came along, we looked at it slightly differently because people turned around and they said, okay, you need to be in the office, you don't need to be in the office. However, we were fortunate because having the network operating center here, we had hurricane ready, so we had backup, we knew what we do, and we had people at home. But we looked at the individual again. So rather than saying you should be in, you shouldn't be out, we looked at the whole gambit of people, because we have quite a big age range, as you can imagine. We have young people finishing probably with me at the end of the top of the totem pole of age, but they live with their parents, they live with the grandparents. So we really looked at which families had high vulnerability, which then said that there's no discussion, they're not coming into the office because we can't do that. So we shifted a little bit round, and again, it helped with the culture. Family first, people were really, really appreciative, saying, look, I should be in, but I understand I live with my grandmother, or I've just had a baby, et cetera, et cetera. So we looked at it differently, and it paid off for everybody. Everybody was comfortable with how we did it.
Showed you were listening, basically.
We were listening, and we followed the guide rules, I mean, it came out as what we should do as a nation, so we followed it, and we looked at the high people who are at high risk, and we followed it, and it paid off.
Excellent. What are you guys doing over there during the pandemic that might be people might want to learn?
Well, and similarly, and we're so much smaller, so we have a little bit more of that benefit of that one-to-one. But I think we started twice daily check-ins. We had stand-up quick meetings before, but we started a morning and afternoon check-in with everybody. But more than that, we quickly started to realize that we have to look at everybody one-on-one. To your point, we have people who are single, and they are really feeling disconnected and depressed, and they're feeling lonely. You've got people on the other gamut who are they've got their kids at home running around, they're trying to homeschool and work full time, or they're taking care of their parents. So we decided as a leadership team, we are going to take this on a case-by-case basis, and we intentionally would reach out to every single team member at least once a week. How are you doing? Because people inherently don't want to ask for help. They were trying to just be tough and just survive. And so when you find out that somebody's struggling, it goes a long way to say, you know what, let's just send so-and-so an Uber Eats gift card today so he or she doesn't have to make dinner. Let's send them a care package. Let's lighten their workload. She's trying to, put 2 kids through school right now online and work full time. Let's lighten her workload. So really, it's that ability to take an individual humanistic approach, and I don't think that we're ever going to go back from that.
That's what I was going to say for both y'all. I think that's going to carry over.
Oh, for
right?
sure.
Oh yeah,
For sure.
yeah. And I just, sorry to interrupt. I mean, the other thing is, it's a culture of trust as well. I mean, we really had no pushback or any issues by anybody because everybody wanted to do the best, even though it was remotely. So that didn't really even come into question.
Right. That's great.
Yeah.
How about for you guys at SBF?
They both took mine, so I won't answer.
Yeah, it's always worse coming third. Yeah, well,
Exactly. I'm starting to feel it now. At the end. It's similar in that we would check in on our people every now and then, but as we grew, we kind of got away from that. And I think, everyone had change in their industry. We had a bunch of change in the industry, and I think the partner group and the management group was worried about our people. With deadlines constantly shifting and the way we work constantly shifting and all the stress. And so I think we weren't like being intentional. I just think we were worried about, hey, is Kyle okay? We should call Kyle. And it was simply like phone calls, like, how are you doing? And then there was a default, like you said, fine. It's like, no. How are you really doing?
Right.
Is everything really okay? And it was more, I think, for our satisfaction to feel like our people were okay, but it had a huge impact. I was talking to someone about this discussion panel the other day, and they said, yeah, you called me. And I said, I did? They're like, yeah. I'm like, they didn't forget that I called them.
Excellent.
Every
Yeah.
person I talked to remembered. I mean, I'm forgetful, so I didn't, but it was very impactful for them. So that's something I think that we're going to continue to do, is just check on our people. Do you feel supported? Do you feel encouraged? Are you overloaded? Are you stressed? How are things going? I mean, just a simple conversation. Because normally when the partner calls, I want something or I need something. So I think that we're taken aback by the fact that we were just trying to see if they're okay.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, so we talk a lot about how surveys of the employees are important. I know these kinds of awards are based on that, but for each of y'all, how do you know that your culture efforts are working when you walk around the office, when you talk to people? Just as important when there's a conflict between employees or there's problems. How can you tell that, hey, I really do think we're doing the right thing here and it's working? I think you can start that.
I'm going to kind of be redundant here, but like I had said in your previous question, as a partner, I didn't think it had a whole lot of impact, me just checking in. But a couple of times when I've checked in with people, either calling them or having them in my office, one instance in particular was one of our new people, and she said to someone else in the firm that she was on the point of like tears and just breaking down, like she felt struggling and exhausted and frustrated, and that me just talking to her made her feel better. So to prove it is there, and it goes back to something that they said. It's as much of a sense of pride for me as it is for them, maybe even more for them. Like our people get fired up when we win this award. It's that virtuous cycle. Like they want to win too, because they identify themselves as good people who work in a good culture and a good environment that care for others. And this is just vindication. That's how you know it's working, when they're fired up about this award and they're behind it.
And they're really proud to tell people
absolutely.
they work there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Jenny?
Well, I think for us, we had started before the pandemic. We had hired a third-party consultant to come in and kind of do what we do for their clients, and that is do a messaging exercise for us and really kind of get in there and help us identify and elevate up our core values, among other things. And so she got started, and then of course everything went into lockdown. In the meantime, we didn't let it stop the process. So we actually surveyed our team members and gave them an opportunity to really give honest feedback. And from that feedback, our values were born. We were able to identify our core values, and something we've never done before. And we were able to tell the team, this is directly from your feedback. And so in the whole process of COVID and lockdown, here we are in the background, kind of making this new platform, this cultural platform. And this last January, a couple months ago, we decided, it was a risk, but we decided to host an in-person all-team meeting. And we went to great lengths to social distance and do all of the protocols. And we got the team together, we rolled out those values, and the feedback was overwhelming, that they had that sense of ownership, and they were so appreciative that after a really long year of being separate, that they were literally able to come together and celebrate that and celebrate our success as a team. That was by far and away the biggest indicator for us.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, Sean?
So I'm third this time, so
Yeah.
everybody's answered the question for me. But no, similar to colleagues here, it's winning these awards, I think, one, it's a sense of pride, as you alluded to before, but from a management perspective, it really solidifies that your culture is correct, yeah? Because you can always smile and say it's all contrived. No, we have a culture where you can say what you think, yeah? Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. You always don't want to hear what people think, but unless we get it out in the open, we can't address it. And the negative side of people talking up is small, thank goodness. Again, it solidifies of our culture. But also the thing is, we are, despite that we're growing, touch wood, and that, we keep a very family-orientated atmosphere. And you do get family squabbles. I mean, it's normal. But when we have our squabbles, and what I mean by that is, it's left at the office. We'll go and have a beer afterwards. We had pizza parties. We had some beer as well, but we were careful. But it's left. It's left at the door. People move on. People get on. And if you have a culture that internally is fractious, you don't get that. It's never left at the office. It overflows and continues. Yeah. We constantly monitor that, because the minute it does that, then our culture's failing. And I have to say, it's good at the moment. We follow it. But people knowing that they have a voice and nobody's going to be offended by what they say, as long as it's respectful, I think it goes a long way to making them feel.
So you find that your employees aren't holding grudges where they're like, well, 3 months ago this happened.
No, this happened, this guy. No, they get it out. It's discussed, because we are in, as I said, a multifaceted IT, and it's moving quickly. Everything's moving quickly. But we also have the culture as well as, you can get it wrong. Don't get me wrong. Nobody's going to get penalized for getting it wrong. Get it wrong twice, then it might be different. But you have to be able to apply yourself to do it, even if it's wrong. Then our role of mentoring to, as you said before, is correcting behavior and then moving forward. And the award, it means a lot to us, believe it or not. We have a wall of, there's some walls of shame. That's not it. Ours is a wall of fame. We take it very seriously. And it's great to be awarded again, a great place to work.
Well, it's pretty clear to me that all three of these companies are doing the right thing in a tangible way. And wanted to thank all of you all. I think we covered some pretty good ground for 15 minutes. And thanks for coming today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you very much indeed for the invite. Appreciate it.